Hey there, I'm Richa and welcome to the iBiologist. As the power supply is one of the essential requirements in every house today, similarly in our cells for the organelles to work, there has to be continuous supply of the energy. The organelle who takes the responsibility of this energy is mitochondria. The double membrane organelle is called the powerhouse of the cell. It produces the molecule which are usable forms of energy. But what do you mean by the usable forms of energy in the first place? The foods we eat that gives us energy. We all know this. But the energy of the food is in not usable form. So the mitochondria converts these molecules into the usable molecules called the adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate is abbreviated as ATP. Cells can obtain energy when these ATP molecules are broken down. The mitochondria has two membranes, inner membrane and the outer membrane. The outer membrane is porous, which means it allows transports the materials across itself. The inner membrane is slightly different. The membrane is folded into the several folds, and that is why it covers the larger area. These folds are referred as cristae. The inner part of this membrane has a matrix which contains all the ATP enzymes for the ATP production. Thus, the larger the surface area, the larger the amount of ATP will generate it. Apart from this, the mitochondria is more than just the powerhouse of the cell. The organelle has its ribosome and the DNA just like the nucleus. Before this organelle termed as mitochondria, it has termed as phyla and the bioplast. The term phyla was given by the Fleming and the term bioplast was given by the Altmann. And the mitochondria was given by Panda. So these are the scientists who termed as differently, but mitochondria is discovered by Kolliker. Kolliker studies mitochondria in flight muscles of insects. Mitochondria is the semi-autonomous organelle, which means it is able to perform certain activities on its own like replication. There is one mitochondria per cell is generalized number of mitochondria, while Chlamydomonas and Chlorella, such types of small unicellular cells, they have only one mitochondria. And 5 lakh mitochondria have been reported in flight cells of insects, while 50,000 have been reported in giant amoeba. The organelle has jelly bean shape in structure and the outer membrane has laced protein and is permeable. And the intermembrane has more protein and has semi or selectively permeable. There are two compartments are formed because of these membranes. The outer mitochondrial compartment is called perimitochondrial space, while the inner compartment called the matrix. The matrix is rich in enzymes for the cellular respiration and it's also rich in divalent ions like magnesium ions, manganese ions, and ferrous ions. These divalent ions are present in the matrix. As we see in the matrix, there is circular DNA and the ribosome are present. The DNA present in mitochondria that is rich in C and G. It means when we see the nucleotides of DNA in the mitochondria, C and G are larger in number than the A and T. As we know, C and G has triple bond, there will be more energy required to denature the DNA. And the ribosome present in the mitochondria is 70S type of ribosome, which is same as what we find in prokaryotic cells. And that is why the scientist Altman proposed the theory that eukaryotic cells are prokaryotic in origin or symbiotic in origin. So he was the one who proposed symbiotic origin of mitochondria. Mitochondria is present in all eukaryotic cells except mature mammalian RBC. And the ribosomes in mammalian mitochondria are 55S type, which have 38S and 28S subunits. There are some knob-like structures present on the crista part, that is called as F0 or oxysomes or elementary particles. Matrix of the mitochondria is pale yellow in color because of the presence of riboflavin. The number of oxysomes per mitochondria can 10,000 to 1 lakh per 1 mitochondria. Oxysome has three particles. First, F0 part or base. Secondly, F5 to F6 particle or stop particle. And third one is F1 particle or head. Before the video ends, let's differentiate the intermembrane and the outer membrane. The inner membrane has more proteins and less lipids, and the lipids which are there in those cholesterol is absent. While the outer membrane has less protein and more lipid, and in this lipid, the part of cholesterol is present. So we know that the mitochondria can replicate themselves, and the number of mitochondria depends on the metabolism activity of the cell. In the next video, we will discuss the function